Hey there, I am Satyam and I work at software developer at Reptron and I am the part of Kubernetes release engineering team. So, with this, why I'm creating this video is that I'm just putting out my learnings and info experience on the internet. I'm not expecting anything uh, from this video and all. So, like what I'm going to tell in this video is more about my experiences and my learnings and everything is like everything is having my own personal views on it. Okay, so I mean, in this particular video I'll be talking about like designing apps to solve the real world problems. So like what kind of real world problems and all we'll be talking about. So the first thing is that uh, I have seen, like, if you are a software engineer or if you are sort of like aspiring to become one, it's I am assuming that you are fond of building softwares. Okay, you are fond of building solutions, and you are fond of technology as well. So like, but many a times that I see most of the startups fail and most of the products fail. Why? Because most of the founders that I have interacted with and most of the founders out there are sort of like obsessed with the technology so much that they try to do the you know they try to use the hottest technology out in the market. They try to I mean, build on top of that, and yep, without evaluating like if there is a need in the market or not, if there is a need, what sort of problems they are building, they are solving. So that brings to the question like, what is a software that really solves the real world problem? So the straightforward answer is that anything that is making the life better of the people is, I consider that as a software that solve the real world problems. So my personal opinion on that part is that we have to build straightforward solutions. uh, I mean, with the cool technology, okay, or with the bare minimum technologies that is present in the market. It's not about creating big big solutions that don't even have problems with the hottest technologies out there in the market. And I'll be talking more about the backend development here. So like, like as a backend developer, you are not, I mean, directly connected with the client or so. I mean, if even if you are, so it is something that is always extracted from the users. And but while designing this, you have to care about the users first. Most of the developers that I meet don't care about the users first. Okay, they only care about building technologies. Okay, and building on top of those technologies. So the first thing is that we have to, we have to rigorously, find the problems that is realistic, and the solutions to it. So I kind of try to define the problems in two ways, like the problems that have a solution yet and the problems that don't have a solution yet. And I consider that the problems that don't have a solution yet are kind of like the complex thing. Okay, you know, com- complex means what here? Complex means that the that particular problem will have very limited resources. I mean, it would be very difficult for you to find the solution of it. And there is one thing that if you're creative and you can, you can try to see the solutions from multiple angles always. And there, the second category is that the problems that have existing solutions is relatively, easier or less complex from the problems that don't have a solution yet. Why? Because there are plenty of resources out there with the solutions, and you can go and try to build something on top of that, try to innovate something, try to solve the problem differently for the better of the for the better of the society, for the better for the better solutions to the problem. And one more thing that uh, I have observed, working with lots of people, that they don't, they ignore the small problems, and they focus on the big problems that is there to be solved. This is not the way like how we solve the problems. The way how we solve the problems is like we, we solve the problems basically. I am putting more weight into this point. That is like we have to solve the problems that is basically real world. Okay. And one more thing is that while solving the problems we have to keep in mind of diversity. Diversity is the factor that plays a bigger role in creating softwares, because softwares are accessible from any part of the world. So I mean, for what purpose are you building the software? That is one thing. And for what user are you building the software? That is another thing. So let's give you an example of like how diverse your users can be. Suppose suppose like you would be facing this in your life. So the way you are using your smartphone, or the way you are using softwares on your smartphone, and the way your mom is using softwares on the smartphone is completely different from one another. you know so this is diverse. So I can consider you as an expert user, and your mom is a naive user. So as a developer I have to be very careful about the things, considering you and considering your mother as well. Both of you are my potential users, so I'll not let that go. I'll solve the problem in that way that even you are able to, you don't feel much boring on that part using that software, and your mom don't feel like the software is too heavy for me, and the software I'm sorry, I cannot use this software, I'm not able to use this software. Okay. So like as a developer, how do you solve the problem for your user? Okay. So solving the problem for a user comes from collecting the requirements. Let's say that a shop owner comes to you and he says that, hey, I want a pizza delivery app, and this and that. Okay, whatever thing that you can think of in a food delivery app, I want this and that. Okay. And yep, that's it. So you'll be like, oh my god. Okay. But you will have to explain in a little detail. So you go on a call with the client, and the thing is that you directly you don't go on and building, you directly do not go and build the software. You first have to collect the requirements, and the requirements are basically two types that I consider: functional requirements and non-functional requirements. Functional requirements are those requirements that your clients care about, the problems and the solution to it. And non-functional requirements are basically those kind of requirements that your client don't care about. Okay. So let me give you an example of this. Functional requirements are basically, let me give you the pizza example. So functional requirements would be uh, the person, the pizza shop owner says you that, hey, I want a menu thing to be displayed in my app. Okay. You'll say okay. And hey, I want people to order pizza from my app, but in a particular location only. Okay. And he says that I want an admin portal and I want a user portal. You say okay, everything is fine, but the non-functional and everything comes under the functional requirements. Everything that is you the client is concerned about is the functional requirement, and everything that a developer is concerned about while fulfilling the need of that client is called non-functional requirements or technical requirements. The the pizza shop owner has nothing to do with the sort of technologies that you are using. Okay. They just want a working application for their shop. Okay. So you will have to focus on the functional requirements when talking to the client, and you will have to focus on the non-functional requirements when evaluating all those functional requirements, so that you can build on top of it. And one more thing I see that developers often face challenges with is that developers try to like build the prototypes, or developers try to understand everything at in a single call. That is not the way, how things are built. There is continuous iterative process that goes on behind building a great product. So you will create some functional requirements, and you will go to the client, and the client will sort of give you some feedbacks, and you will again incorporate those feedbacks. You will go to the client again, and this loop will continue. Okay, and then you will kind of like, as a junior developer, but as a senior developer, you do have sort of things set in your mind, that what kind of things you are going to ask from the client. And apart from that, like, how do you gather the requirements? The way you gather the requirements is basically you find out the problem your client is going through in short term, mid term, and long term. So I'm pressing this on short term, mid term, and long term, because like when you build the software, suppose there is a need for, suppose the pizza shop owner is saying that I only want to serve 100 people, I want to only want to serve 200 people. So this is his short term, but later on he says that he also wants some multiple integrations on top of it. Like he can integrate that with another delivery app. He can also integrate with the payment app and anything else. Okay, this can be of his mid-term goals, and after some time he wants that no, our application can serve 1 lakh customers. So you have to understand the short term, mid term, and long term of your client, and build the software accordingly. Okay, and one of the most crucial part is that you have to discuss the budget constraints for the app, because the software that you are building for a very big company, and the software that you are building for a local pizza shop owner would be completely different. And budgets will also be different. So obviously, like, if you get the good budget, you will be able to explore more things. You will be able to do much more thing with that money. But you know but when the scenario arises, like you have a very budget constrained client, then you have to think accordingly, and you have to provide the best of the solutions that you have, that you can offer in that budget, as a good backend developer. And also, like, you try to understand, you understand how the existing process works currently. The third point is very important, is that what you can do currently, like, go to the pizza shop and sit for a day and see how people which type of people come, how they order food, and kind of like uh, how they order food, how the pizza owner responds, are there any sort of feedbacks included in that, or any kind of things, so that like you have a rough idea of how I mean things are going on. And you can create, you can evaluate more your functional requirements, and then you can go with the non-functional requirements, and then you build on top of it. And apart from that, like, uh, the most important part is that I'm again saying, is like, build prototypes keeping all things in mind your clients have said so far, and try to iterate, give a little bit iterations to your work, because iterations, practice makes a product perfect, I would say. So yeah, try to so I mean the conclusion of this is that, don't pay like go with building with the hottest technologies out there in the market. Solve the real world problems as a backend developer. And every day, like, when you are a backend developer, you have to think from the client's perspective, and things from the user's perspective. You are not your own user. You have to be, very very concerned about the requirements that the client is concerned about, and you have to deliver according to his expectations and according to the budget constraints as well. That's how like you become a good developer. That's how, I mean, good developers work. And yep, that's it. That's all about this video.